Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Maldonado. Thank you for tuning in. This is for the week of May 18th. It is lesson 20, and the objective is multiplying fractions to find area. If you don't already have pencil and paper, I would pause the video and go get your supplies so that you can practice with me and then try one on your own. So the first thing I want to do is I want to remind you what we've learned about area. Area is the amount of space inside of a two-dimensional object. The formula for area is A equals L times W. A stands for area, L is length, and W is width. These are called our dimensions. We multiply them in order to find the area. Area is measured in square units. The example is if I measured with inches, my area would be 42 square inches. So you would label your answer with square and then the unit, square inches, square feet. So that is a key word when solving with area. Let's solve a problem together. Draw an area model and write an equation to find the area of a rectangle that measures 1/5 mile by 3/8 of a mile. So in this problem, I have two jobs to do. The first thing I have to do is I have to draw an area model. The second thing I need to do is to write an equation. So I'm going to use the rectangle right here to represent an area model. So first thing here is I'm going to make my length 3/8. So I'm going to make 8 parts going across. So I'm going to make vertical lines. And I need 8 parts because that is my denominator. So 3 out of 8. Okay, so that represents 3/8. Now, on the side is going to be my width, and that is 1/5. So now I need horizontal rows. I need 5 of them because my denominator is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 1/5. That means 1 out of 5. So now I'm going to shade in one of these rows. Okay. Now when you're finding area using an area model, your product, your answer is going to be how many parts have both colors that overlap. So if I take a look here, I notice that this section here has red and black. This section here is red and black, and so does this one. So I'm going to make these green to represent that they have both colors. Okay. So now what that means is the area here would be 3 parts out of 40 total. I know my denominator is going to be 40 because there's 40 total parts. If there's 5 rows of 8, 5 times 8 is 40. So there's 40 total parts. So now over here, I'm going to write it as an equation. I have my area model, and now I need to represent it as an equation. So we did 1/5 times 3/8. And again, when you're multiplying fractions, you just multiply your numerators and then multiply your denominators. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 8 is 40. 3/40. So my equation matches my area model. The area model had 3 parts shaded out of 40 total. Okay, the next problem here says fill in the missing numbers to make the equation true. Then complete the area model to check your answer. All right, so for this problem, we have 2 jobs again. We have to find the missing numbers and then check our work using an area model. All right, I like these. It's like a missing piece of the puzzle. So I need to figure out 1/6 times something will give me 1/24. I'm going to write a little bigger. I like this color. Okay. Okay. So I think 6 times something gives me 24. All right. If I skip count by 6s, some of you still have a hard time with your multiplication facts. So again, if you need to make a multiple tower on the side, take a minute and do that. 6, another 6 would be 12, 18, 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 4 groups of 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times what gives me 1? That would have to be 1. So the missing fraction would be 1/4. So now we need to shade it in. So let's take a look here. So let's see how many rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 rows. Okay, so I'm going to shade in 1 row out of 4 to represent 1/4. Okay, so my width is 1/4. I shaded in 1/4. Now with a different color, my length is going to be 1/6. So I'm going to shade in 1 column out of 6. Because if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I shade in 1 column out of 6, it would be this one right here. And when I did that, it's pretty cool. This little section here turned navy blue. That's because those 2 colors overlap. So that would be my area, that would be my product. So let's make that a little darker. This section here had both overlapping. That's going to be my numerator. It's 1 part, which is right here. Now, how many total parts do I have? I have 4 rows of 6. That's like skip counting by 4s. That would be 24. So my area model here represents what happened in my equation. Width of 1/4, length of 1/6. When I shade it in, 1 part in common out of 24 total. 1/24. How you doing? Getting it? Okay, this is our last one together. Which products can you find by shading the model below? So in this problem, they're giving us the beginning stage of an area model. We have to select all that apply. So what I would do first is I want to figure out how many parts are going across and how many parts are going down. That's going to help me determine my denominators. Let's take a look. Okay, let's go across first. This is my length going across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's 4, so I know that 1 fraction has to be in fourths. Okay, so actually, if I go this way, I'm going to color code it. So that would be 4. So let's take a look how many rows going down. So 1, 2, 3. So let's make that green. So what that means is that the other fraction is going to have to be in thirds because I have 3 rows. So now I'm going to go down and I'm going to eliminate the ones that don't make sense and I'll bubble in the ones that do. So for A, it says 3/4 times 1/3. Well, I see a 4. I have a 4 for denominator and a 3. So I could represent this equation using this area model because I have the correct number of rows and columns. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's try B. 1/3 I could represent here. 1/6. No, that's not going to work. I don't have 6 parts for length. Let's get rid of that one. C. 2/3 times 1/4. Well, I have thirds and I have fourths. So I could shade in 2/3 and I could shade in 1/4 to find the area. That one is also a winner. 5/3 and 1/4. So 5/3, do you remember what kind of fraction that is? An improper fraction. So an improper fraction is going to be greater than a whole. So I would need to add on, this would not be enough, times 1/4. So the denominators are correct. However, 5/3 would give me more than this 1 whole. So that one would not work. That one is not correct. 3/4 times 3/4. I have fourths, but here in my width I have thirds. I only have 3 parts. So that one would not work. So for this problem, I had 2 that worked. I have A and C. I could represent those equations on this area model. All right, now it's your turn. So I'm going to read you the problem. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to solve it on your own the best that you can. So what I would do is I would solve it with an equation, and then if you can, draw the area model to check your work. It says, find the area of a rectangle that is 2/3 yards by 4/5 yards. Okay, so find the area, pause the video, and when you're done, come back and I will show you the answer. All right, let's check and see if you have it correct. 2/3 times 4/5. 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'm wondering if you remembered your label. Do you remember how to label with area? We use square units. So my answer for this problem, it says yards, but I would write it with the word square. So my answer would be 8/15 square yards. Okay. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed my little mini lesson on multiplying fractions with area. Make sure you also watch the tutorial and you submit your workbook pages and also complete 3 questions on our comprehension check. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.